Good morning, everybody. It is pool day, and I am pretty well rested. I had a pretty good breakfast. I had about 50, 60 grams of carbs, had my pre-workout, had everything I need. I'm hydrated, I'm well rested, so I expect this to be a pretty good one. My lower back is hurting a little bit, so I might have to take it easy on the barbell rows and things of that nature, but I still foresee this being a really good workout. But I do got a few questions I'm going to answer before I go in here. We'll just run through them real quick. Not really focus on giving any complicated answers. But let's see here. Question number one. Nope, sorry. Let me scrolled up too far. What's your main focus for today's session? Strength, volume, or mind-muscle connection? For today, I think mind-muscle connection is going to be a big one, because even though I feel great, I have noticed a little bit of residual fatigue, and that's why I think a rest day would be important. But it is so hard for me to be disciplined enough to take a rest day, because I just love coming to the gym so much. So mind-muscle connection. Are you planning to adjust your rep ranges or weights compared to last week? No, I'm going to go by feel today. Whatever feels good, that's what I'm going to use. No pre-planned aggressive overload or anything. Which back or biceps exercise are you most excited to hit, and why? I think I'm really just excited to hit some seated alternating dumbbell curls. Sometimes I like throwing around the weight when I do barbell curls, just going really heavy. Sometimes that's pretty fun, but we shall see. Okay, well, we already read that one. Any nagging soreness or fatigue that might affect today's session? My lower back, because my job, it uses my lower back a lot. So that's the reason I didn't do heavy squats on my last leg day too, or RDLs, because, that hits my lower back a little bit. And I'm really trying to be smart about my training. So we'll see how that affects today's. What's your strategy for warming up and activating your lats properly? On a lot of exercises, a lot of workouts, the first working set of a muscle, I'll go really light. I'll do 3 or 4 sets. I'll do 5 to 6 reps or something like that, just depending on how it feels, and just keep feeling it until I think I'm at my working weight, and that's where I'll start. So that's a sound strategy, I think, for really warming up your muscles. Do you plan to train to failure or on any sets, or stick with reserved intensity? I gotta figure out a strategy, because I really want to train to failure on every set, but I think that's probably why I have residual fatigue. So maybe I'll do a push-pull legs where I'm training to failure a lot, and then the next rotation leave a couple reps in the tank and focus on form, mind-muscle connection, and things like that. So that might be a strategy I incorporate. And anytime I say I'm going to do that, I go in there and I just kill myself. So we'll just have to wait and see. What's your pre-workout nutrition look like? Anything different? I'm eating rice in the morning. Rice is such a good, clean source of carbs that it's really kind of hard to beat. And it was funny, because for breakfast, I'm always trying to find breakfast foods that really give me some carbs, protein, thing like that. But you don't have to have a traditional breakfast. Nobody said you have to have eggs and oatmeal in the morning just because it's in the morning. So I've been having rice and egg whites. That's it. But I am having trouble finding egg whites right now, so I ended up having a few boiled eggs this morning with my rice. So I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't become a problem. If it is, we got to band together, brothers. I just read that one. How are you tracking progression for your pull moves? Logbook, feel, or video? Feel and memory, which probably isn't the most optimal way to track it, but this is just how I've been doing it. I have a decent memory when it comes to what weight I was using last time I was in here, so that's what I'm going with. What's one cue you're working on to improve form or engagement on a key lift? A cue I'm always working on when doing back is getting the full stretch, sitting there for half a second, and then pulling the weight down with my lats. So when you're in that stretch position, it's a lot easier to feel your lats. So I think that really helps, and I think having wrist straps helps. I might not use my wrist straps today, though. We'll see. lat pull downs. I've been using the tighter grip. I might actually go with the wider grip today, just to mix things up. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But that was the last question. Let's get in there. Let's rake this back, these biceps, and these rear delts. I'll see you guys on the inside. right there you have it. Pool day is complete. And it was a pretty solid pool day. Of course, I didn't really go too heavy on anything. I just kind of, I wouldn't say went through the motions. It kind of felt like an active rest day, but I still did get a pretty good pump. So that just goes to show that even though I was feeling good in the car, that once I started moving, the fatigue was still there a little bit, so I wasn't able to push myself as much. But I'm still glad I came, because maybe I'm just addicted to the pump or the gym in general, but it's always a good time when I'm in there. So I got some questions to answer. Let's get started. Which exercise felt the strongest today, and why do you think that was? I don't think any of them really felt the strongest. The fatigue was definitely there, but just focusing on making that mind-muscle connection and really working on the form, I think it was beneficial for me to be in there anyway. So I don't regret that at all. Did you feel a good mind-muscle connection on your biceps today? Which movement gave you the best pump? I felt a pretty good mind-muscle connection. As far as biceps, which one felt the best? I would say the seated dumbbell curls. The one set that I recorded, I used the 25 pounders. But then I moved on to just using the 20 pounders and slowing down a little bit. And when I was doing that, I could really feel my biceps contracting. So that was definitely, I'd say that was the best one for my biceps. Were there any reps or sets where you felt like you really pushed past a plateau or limit? No, not today. Like I said previously, that today was more about focusing on form, mind-muscle connection, and things like that. So that question, I can't really answer that one. Are you changing any grip widths, angles, or tempo for back movements this week? Why or why not? I did use the bigger attachment for lat pull downs just because it's been a while since I used it. And, I was just mixing it up. I think I still like using the tighter grip attachment. It just feels better. It feels like I'm contracting my lats a little bit better. The stretch feels better. And the tempo today was a little bit faster than usual on some of them, but that's just because I wasn't going super heavy, and I was just kind of really just mixing it up today is the best way to word it. How does your current back and biceps routine align with your weak point priorities? I'm really more focused on lats because I feel like mid-back and traps, I'm okay. But I don't want to neglect them so much that they fall really far behind. So I think I do need to start incorporating some more upper back and traps, biased back movements. But I'm definitely seeing a width difference, that little V taper from having wide lats, so I think that's really been paying off. How's your recovery feeling from last pull day? Any lingering soreness or fatigue? I think so, but I think it's a combination of doing like RDLs and heavy squats and things like that. I think it just added fatigue to my lower back, and it kind of hurt me a little bit. But overall, I'm okay. Do you feel like your pulling power is holding up well during your cut? I think so, yeah. I think I could have possibly pulled pretty heavy today, but the amount of fatigue I already had and adding on top of that, I don't see like that being an optimum way to train. Did your pre-workout meal or timing contribute to a better pump or energy today? I think having some rice before I come to the gym. Well, I don't always come in the morning. I usually do afternoon lifts, and it's just how it's working right now. But I think if I have some rice for breakfast and also some for lunch, and I'm fully carved up and hydrated before I go in, I think but that did help my pump. How would you rate your intra-workout or hydration today? Did it affect your performance? My hydration was good. I had quite a bit of water with my pre-workout. I think that's important. If you have a pre-workout and it says only use 8 ounces of water, just go ahead and use 24 ounces of water. Just go ahead and get hydrated before you go in there. That's going to help you out a lot. What was going through your head during your heaviest lift today? I didn't really have any heavy lifts today. Today, what was going through my head was, let's focus on that contraction. Let's focus on that form. Let's make sure we're hitting the muscle in a moderate way that I can get a good pump and still feel good about coming to the gym, even though I was a little tired, and I think I accomplished that. Any moments where you had to mentally battle through a tough set or rep? How did you push through? The mental battle today was holding back a little bit, because that is so hard for me to do, because I'm trying to get after it every time I go in here. And I think holding back was the hardest part. So it kind of goes against that question, but that was my biggest battle today. But that was the last question. Everything's going good. I'm going to have a birthday dinner today, so I'm not going to sweat going over my calories a little bit. I will be as smart as I can with it, but still have a good time. So thank you guys for joining me. Tomorrow will be leg day, and will it be a heavy leg day or will it be a form-focused leg day? We'll see. Thank you guys for joining me. Don't let that dreamer die. Keep the grind alive. Never give up on yourself. See you guys tomorrow.